This is Fox Springfield News at 9.
We begin with ice storm 2017. Central Illinois has yet to see any freezing rain, but it's slowly making its way towards us right now. Now, this is video from Springfield, Missouri, where it remains under an ice storm warning. The accumulating ice there caused roads to become slick, many crashes in the area. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Stacy Skryzak.
And I'm Lindsay Hess. As we await the incoming ice storm, we are bringing you team coverage from our storm team meteorologists and reporters across Central Illinois. But let's first check in with Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke.
Yeah, Cheryl, it seems like we've kind of lucked out so far, but it's going to come.
That's right, Stacy and Lindsay. I've noticed over the last few hours the precipitation becoming a lot more spotty, and for some of us, we have yet to see the freezing rain. But don't be lulled into a false sense of security, because certainly the freezing rain is going to get here. It's just taking its good old sweet time, though, but it will eventually come on in. And right now, the latest timing looks as if it may wait until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning before most of us start to see that freezing rain. At any rate, though, it will be a freezing rain event for this upcoming weekend, and because of that, ice storm warnings continue for some of our southern counties from Greene over towards Fayette County. The rest of us, though, under freezing rain advisories for the upcoming weekend. Our latest live Doppler radar showing things have kind of tamed down a little bit. Still reporting some spotty areas of freezing rain, especially closer towards I-70, back over towards Clark and Crawford County. But the bigger picture does a better perspective as to what's happening. We still have lots of areas of freezing rain still building over parts of Kansas and Missouri, and that moisture will come streaming over in our direction. So certainly looking at more freezing rain developing, especially again after 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Then we'll likely see more freezing rain from about 7 to about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. After that, though, I think we will catch a little bit of a break, at least through the afternoon hours tomorrow, before more freezing rain takes hold again, especially late Saturday night on into Sunday. Bottom line, we will be seeing some accumulating ice, and again, that's going to make for some very dangerous traveling conditions for this upcoming weekend. Of course, you can track this latest storm. If you're away from your TV set, simply download our weather app. It's totally free, sponsored by Hy-Vee. Simply go to the iTunes store or else go to Google Play and look for WICS-WX.
While things may be quiet now, we're certainly not finished with the freezing rain threat. We continue our team coverage now with meteorologist Thomas Patrick with a look at the travel forecast for this weekend. Thomas.
And Lindsay, we were able to dodge most of the scattered freezing rain showers so far, though we saw areas like Litchfield, Verdon, and even towards Vandalia, Mulberry Grove. They already got some freezing rain today, but we are far from through with this event. And here's the wave of precipitation that's going to be coming our way next. More damaging ice going to be falling portions of Oklahoma and into Missouri, and that's all it's heading into our direction. It'll be here by tomorrow morning. So let's time things out. There are 2 more waves and 2 more chances for freezing rain tomorrow morning, mostly between about 3 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the morning, and then a secondary wave moves into the area on Sunday morning. So if you're driving around, you have to time it out carefully. Your best chance will be either during the afternoon hours, Saturday or Sunday. Now, if you're traveling long distance, well, ice is likely to be along I-70 from KC to Indy, even St. Louis, both Saturday and Sunday. On the other hand, though, Chicago won't see any freezing rain until Sunday night and into Monday morning.
Thank you, Thomas, for that update. As we brace for the ice storm, Springfield City Water, Light and Power says it is ready for what's to come. CWLP says it's been prepared for these types of situations by testing their equipment. But CWLP spokesperson says there isn't much they can do until the calls and reports come in. The dispatch center is staffed 24 hours a day. CWLP says its power lines can withstand winds up to 30 miles per hour and half an inch of ice.
But we do have to take into consideration that ice and tree limbs don't mix, and those can cause outages.
One of the things CWLP says would be beneficial for its customers is to update their phone numbers in the system. Those numbers are automatically synced to CWLP's outage system. Now, if you see any drooping or downed power lines or trees, make sure to call CWLP and get those reported right away. Ameren, Illinois has opened its Emergency Operations Center in response to possible power outages by the ice storm. The center will be staffed around the clock to fix electric services, logistical support, and communications. Employees are already stationed in areas expecting heavy damage. Now, for more information on what you should do during a power outage, just head to foxillinois.com.
As we await the incoming ice storm, let's get a check of our current road conditions in Sangamon County. As you can see right now, green means clear of snow and ice, yellow means patches of snow and ice, and red means covered in ice and snow. Springfield crews continue to monitor the road conditions and could start salting the roads by 10 p.m. There are more than 600 miles of roads for city crews to cover, which could take several hours to cover with salt. A couple weeks ago, icy conditions spiraled out of control with dozens of accidents and many slick streets. Public Works Director Mark Mahoney says the recent warmer temperatures should make things easier.
Previous event, when you had the temperatures, just the timing of them, the dropping, and then they didn't rise very quickly, it was a real challenge. The salt wasn't real effective. We didn't have a lot of the equipment some of the northern cities do to look at other options of doing with the roads.
Mahoney has a friendly reminder to be very cautious when you're driving. While you should give salt trucks 50 feet of space, when the icy conditions hit, Mahoney says you should consider giving the heavy trucks more space than that.
On a state level, you can see that much of the St. Louis area, well, we had the map showing you. It was in yellow, meaning the roads are covered in patches of snow and ice. Let's take a look at that state map. It's about the same that it's been for several hours. You can see there that yellow, that's all by St. Louis. The green means that it's all clear, but you've got to keep an eye out in the next several hours to see the changes and take precaution. Now, IDOT crews tell us they've been preparing for this ice storm. They've been sending out trucks to pre-treat highway and county roads in case that we see conditions that we showed you at the top of the show in Missouri. Now, there were a few cars traveling from St. Louis who stopped in Litchfield to chisel off the ice. Take a look at that. The cars were completely coated in a thick layer of ice. IDOT officials say they are prepared if we see similar conditions in central Illinois.
I think this one has a little bit more forewarning. The last one seemed to hit us without as much warning, so we've had the luxury to get out there a little bit more and pre-treat more areas and really just get ahead of it.
The cars we saw earlier that had the ice forming, it formed the moment the rain hit, which made for dangerous driving conditions. IDOT officials say they usually wait until the storm is at least an hour out before salting the roads, but since it's been changing often, they do want to be ready. And stay with Fox Springfield News at 9 for up-to-the-minute information on this weekend's winter storm. We're going to have up-to-the-minute updates on air and on our website, foxillinois.com, and of course on our Facebook and Twitter pages.
In your crime watch, a Springfield woman is behind bars after allegedly stabbing a man in the face and abdomen. According to police, a sergeant witnessed the incident. He says he saw 25-year-old Jennifer Hall dropping a knife to the ground, then noticed the 26-year-old male victim. His injuries are non-life threatening. Hall was arrested for aggravated battery and unlawful use of a weapon.
A Springfield man was arrested for a gun that was reportedly stolen nearly 20 years ago. Police made contact with 31-year-old Jarriet Gregory in the 900 block of North 12th Street. Gregory was in possession of a handgun that was stolen in 1999 and was also found to be on parole for possession of a weapon by a convicted felon. He was taken to the Sangamon County Jail.
New at 9, one Springfield Street will pay tribute to the officer who was killed in the line of duty almost 40 years ago. The section of 9th Street between Converse Street and Ridgely Avenue will be renamed Officer David Tapscott Memorial Street. The resolution unanimously passed the House in May and the Senate on Tuesday. Tapscott was killed in a single vehicle accident that happened in that area on Christmas Eve, 1979.
Coming up next, strike authorization. AFSCME members will soon vote whether or not to strike. What led the state's largest union to this decision?
Plus, Chicago police investigation. The 13-month probe is now over. What the Department of Justice has revealed about the police department.
And here's a live look at the weather radar right now. You can see some of that pink. That's the freezing rain moving off to the east. We're going to get a full check of that forecast with Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke next. You're watching Fox Springfield News at 9.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We're following developing news out of Washington today. Illinois Congressman Aaron Schock has announced he will resign at the end of the month.
Schock has been the subject of intense scrutiny in recent weeks for alleged misuse of taxpayer dollars. News Channel 20's Adam Reif has more on the announcement. Adam.
Liz, Maggie, the 33-year-old from Peoria was once considered a rising star within the Republican Party, due in large part to his youth, his image, and his likability. Today, however, it appears Aaron Schock's political career is over. Schock has taken heat in recent weeks for leading a lavish lifestyle. He's been accused of using taxpayer money to fund an office renovation, chartered airplane, concert tickets, and expensive vacations with a personal photographer. Aaron Schock announced last week he was hiring an outside firm to evaluate his spending practices. We caught up with him Friday in Beardstown. He said at the time he would continue to do what he thought was best for the people of the 18th District. This afternoon, Schock released a statement saying in part, quote, "The constant questions over the last 6 weeks have proven a great distraction that has made it too difficult for me to serve the people of the 18th District with the high standards that they deserve and which I have set for myself. I have always sought to do what's best for my constituents, and I thank them for the opportunity to serve." It's important to note, while Aaron Schock's resignation may halt a congressional investigation into his spending practices, it would not necessarily stop any legal action from should investigators find any instances of wrongdoing. Aaron Schock's last day in Congress will be March 31st. Our team coverage of the Aaron Schock resignation continues now with News Channel 20's Eric Feldman, who is live in Springfield outside of Schock's district office with more on reaction from lawmakers. Eric?
Adam, it's been a whirlwind for Congressman Aaron Schock the past few weeks, and it culminates today with his resignation from Congress. News has been really coming out of Washington since the news broke this afternoon that he was resigning from his soon-to-be former colleagues, offering words of shock and disappointment from Senator Dick Durbin to Congressman Rodney Davis. Davis has worked with Congressman Schock for quite some time and even called Schock his friend. Davis says he was surprised by Schock's decision, but respects it. Now he says it's time for Schock to answer these questions that have been coming up seemingly daily about his spending.
I have not spoken with him in regards to this particular issue of his resignation. I look forward to talking with him again, and I hope that Aaron is able to take this opportunity to address some of the questions that have arisen and be able to answer some of those.
Congressman Davis also says any allegation is concerning to him, and he hopes that Congressman Schock will address these allegations. Senator Durbin also says in a statement that the news of Schock's resignation is a surprise, but shows how serious this situation is. Coming up tonight at News Channel 20 at 10, we have an interview with one Peoria lawyer who will be vying for the now empty seat in the 18th District. Reporting live from Springfield, Eric Feldman, News Channel 20.
Reaction continues to pour in over Schock's sudden announcement. Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger was a close friend to the Peoria Republican and released this statement about his resignation. The Northern Illinois Republican says, quote, "During my time in Congress, I have come to know and respect Schock's dedication to serving his constituents, his tireless advocacy for our country's future and the people in the 18th District. Aaron was constantly looking for ways to end partisan gridlock and never afraid to reach across the aisle to find real solutions for American families," end quote. Congressman Schock serves the 18th District in the state of Illinois. As you can see, that district is one of the largest in the state. It stretches from Quincy to Springfield and Sangamon County and to north of Peoria and west of Bloomington and the city of Jacksonville. The district is home to more than 700,000 people.
Congressman Aaron Schock started his political career at the State House here in Springfield. His colleagues there saying that they are surprised by the political star's fall, but replacing him will start soon. Senator Dale Ryder says that the governor has 5 days from the resignation to issue a writ. That's an announcement to all the county clerks in the congressional district, appointing a day for a special election. That election has to happen within 115 days of the governor's writ.
The governor's going to set the election process, and then we'll see, I think, very quickly who will be doing what.
Some lawmakers hope that the governor doesn't wait to set the election at the end of the 115 days because unlike the Senate vacancy, there is no appointment process for representatives. Even in the interim, Schock's district will go without a representative until a new one is represented in the special election. Governor Rauner released a short statement today saying this is a sad day for the people of Illinois and the 18th District. Congressman Schock's resignation has sparked rumors of a possible run from Republican State Senator Darren LaHood.
News Channel 20's Jen Sullivan spoke to the senator and joins us now in studio with reaction. Jen.
Maggie Liz, Senator Darren LaHood was all smiles this evening when he told me he was, quote, seriously considering running for the 18th congressional seat. Tomorrow, he will make an official announcement on whether he will run. The Republican senator says he's always had higher political aspirations. Darren's father, Ray LaHood, was Congressman Schock's predecessor and occupied the seat from 1995 until 2009. Although he has not told me if he has spoken to his father about running, he has received encouragement from other political colleagues.
I've gotten a lot of encouragement today from elected officials, my constituents, people all over the district to look at this seat. and to consider, and that's a real honor to do that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to be making an announcement tomorrow on my future plans for that seat.
Now, Senator LaHood would not give specifics as to when he would make an official announcement. All we do know is that it will be tomorrow. Back to you.
Thanks, Jen. Aaron Schock is a very beloved politician, and not only by voters in the 18th District. He's won each of his 4 elections to Congress, the last 2 by a landslide with about 74% of the vote.
The 33-year-old lawmaker has been pegged among the GOP's most promising rising stars. He has also been frequently honored with national awards. Aaron Schock certainly appealed to voters, and tonight many of them are reacting to the Republicans' resignation on social media.
On our Facebook page, Todd Starks wrote, "Absolutely the right move, and he should be required to pay it all back."
Julia Daniel Antonacci commented, "There's obviously more to this story."
Nottingham Familia wrote, "I'm disappointed in him. I voted for him and had respect. Just goes to show can't trust any of them. Need to elect non-politicians."
Carol Tago said, "He should not resign. He's a good guy who cares about the people. Every politician has made some kind of mistake. At least his was a small one." Well, feel free to let us know your thoughts on our Facebook page.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I'm so filled with faith.
I'm hopeful. We are transferring power and giving it back to you, the people.
I just knew I had to be here. We're going to do so much better than we've been doing.
We will make America great again. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on Fox Springfield News at 9. I'm Stacey Skryzak.
And I'm John Rieger. It is a new era in Washington tonight as Donald Trump becomes the 45th President of the United States. President Trump and his family are wrapping up a day of pomp and circumstance after he was sworn into office earlier today.
In our top story, Kristen Holmes looks at the ceremony, the pageantry, and the transfer of power from Washington.
I, Donald John Trump,
becoming the 45th President of the United States and delivering an inaugural address reminiscent of the outsider-themed speeches that gained him popularity during the campaign, taking aim at the political system.
Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth.
Promising once again to restore the American dream.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
A freshly sworn-in President Trump and First Lady waving to thousands of onlookers while marching in his inaugural parade on Pennsylvania Avenue. Earlier in the day, the first couple following tradition, the new president striking a positive tone, attending a lunch with congressional leaders where he expressed kind words for his former rival.
I was very honored, very honored, when I heard that President Bill Clinton and Secretary Hillary Clinton was coming today, and I think it's appropriate to say, and I'd like you to stand up.
And was all smiles while visiting the Obamas at the White House. The former president leaving his successor a letter in the Oval Office before saying a final farewell to his staff.
This has never been about us. It has always been about you.
4 years ago, then President Obama attended 10 inaugural balls. This evening, President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump will attend just 3 balls. In Washington, I'm Kristen Holmes.
Now, local Democratic and Republican leaders are feeling very different about the inauguration, but both say they took the same positive out of this election. The Sangamon County Republicans held a watch party to celebrate President Trump's inauguration, and some donors stopped by to write checks. They say the local party got more money from independents and even Democrats who supported Trump. Democrats say more people turned out to the polls, and those who already voted expanded their participation.
A number of Democrats and independents, and as you said, and people who've never voted came out this election. And it has raised our records high as the number of Republicans in Sangamon County.
Some people that vote, but that's all. That's their participation voting. And so we saw people that did a bit more than that. They made phone calls, they walked precincts, they mobilized their friends and family. So, that participation definitely ramped up.
Both local Democrats and Republicans think the increased political participation will be sustainable for future elections.
And happening now, along with a peaceful transfer to power, the right to peacefully protest is another American tradition. Dissatisfaction with the election turned to violence in D.C. Protesters torched 2 cars. Windows were shattered, buildings vandalized. Some demonstrators committed to disruption, and police responded with concussion grenades and more than 200 arrests. During the inaugural address, protesters turned up music to drown out Trump's speech. As the national anthem was playing, many took a knee.
This is a tragedy in America. We don't know what's going to happen within the next 4 years, but we know that it's not going to be in our favor. It's not going to be in our favor.
He may be our president, but he is not my leader. And he has proven that he is not fit to lead this country.
Anti-Trump protests were coordinated in a number of large cities across the country. Protesters also staged demonstrations around the globe, hoping the new president's shift in foreign policy does not damage established relationships.
New tonight, protests, as John just mentioned, erupted across the country on Inauguration Day, but a group of young people rallied at the Illinois State Capitol with a positive message. Fox's Esther Kwan was at the rally and joins us in studio with more. Esther?
Stacey, a pro-life group of youth rallied at the state capitol today, sending a message to President Donald Trump on his first day in office. Group members saying they're hopeful that the new administration will bring an end to abortion.
We're really passionate about this, and we believe that abortion shouldn't be legal anymore.
Their message is just very simple, that life is precious, life is beautiful, and it needs to be respected.
165 members of the Chicago-based pro-life group Crusaders for Life marched to the state capitol today, sending a message to President Donald Trump.
From what he has said on different occasions, he's definitely for life, and we hope that he can continue and fulfill his promises for the support of life, that life is beautiful and precious.
We want to hold him to what he says about defunding Planned Parenthood and about being on the pro-life side. That's what we really want.
But Planned Parenthood wants something else. The Illinois chapter says the new administration is the most serious threat to women's health care in the 100 years of Planned Parenthood's existence.
We believe very strongly that all Americans have the right to comprehensive reproductive health care, including access to safe and legal abortion. Planned Parenthood does not get a big fat check from the federal government that we can do with it whatever we want.
Leahy says cutting funding for Planned Parenthood would risk losing other services too, not just abortion.
Federal law already addresses the issue of funding for abortion. That is highly restricted under federal law. And the funding that we're talking about is for things like your Pap test, your breast exam, birth control.
Leahy says Planned Parenthood is taking the threat of losing funding very seriously. They've been reaching out to lawmakers and supporters and sending out petitions to Congress to save the funding. Back to you.
Thank you, Esther. Happening tomorrow, Springfield Call to Action is sponsoring a rally at the Old State Capitol Plaza. This is a sister rally to the historic Women's March on Washington, D.C. tomorrow. The organizer says speakers will be talking about Springfield and national issues. While the group came about after the 2016 election, they say this is not an anti-Trump rally.
No, it's not an anti-anything rally. This is a supportive, inclusive rally to show, that we can work together to accomplish some great things. So it's not anti-Trump, it's not anti-anything.
The organizer says the group's primary goal is to promote and support a more just and vibrant community. The rally is scheduled for 1 p.m. tomorrow. Senator Dick Durbin is scheduled to be one of the guest speakers. And that's our time. We'll see you tomorrow.